So there have been cheap shots, there have been hard fouls, there have been other plays that haven't even been called flagrant fouls. Caitlin Clark received 17% of the WNBA's flagrant fouls this season.
The WNBA playoffs just got wild. Caitlin Clark, the rookie sensation, took an eye poke from DiJonai Carrington. Now Carrington's talking, and you won't believe what she's saying. Was it really an accident? Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great, thank you so much. Now back to the video. Picture this, Indiana Fever versus Connecticut Sun, playoff game on the line. Clark's driving to the hoop, Carrington goes for the block, and bam, Clark's on the floor, clutching her eye. The crowd goes nuts. It's like watching two titans clash, and one just got knocked down. But here's where things get crazy. Carrington's saying it wasn't on purpose. And Clark? She's actually backing her up. Can you believe it? This isn't just about one game anymore. We're talking player safety, playoff momentum, and the WNBA's image on the line. So what's really going on here? Is this rivalry heating up, or are we seeing a new side to these stars? Let's break it down and see what this means for the league. The plot thickens as Carrington speaks out. She claims it was an accident, but her history with Clark paints a different picture. Is there more to this eye poke than meets the eye? Carrington's finally broken her silence on the incident that's got the whole WNBA buzzing. Her words? I don't even know why I would intend to hit anybody in the eye. It doesn't even make sense to me. Sounds innocent enough, right? But here's where things get interesting. When Carrington was giving her interview, something seemed off. She had this little smirk when talking about laughing with her teammates after the incident. Now, I'm not saying she's lying, but that body language has got fans raising their eyebrows. And you know what's crazy? The fans aren't buying it. Social media is blowing up with people calling Carrington out. They're saying there's no way this was just an accident. Some are even demanding she face consequences for what happened.
Where's the mention of the fact that the Michael Jordan of the WNBA was assaulted 2 minutes into the game on a dirty play with one of these women with these long fake fingernails? This is inexcusable. And DiJonai Carrington needs to be suspended for Game 2.
But let's rewind a bit. This Clark-Carrington rivalry isn't new. These two have been going at it for a while now. Remember back in June? Carrington was mocking Clark for flopping during a game. And that's not all. Carrington's taken shots at Clark off the court too, criticizing her for not speaking up about social issues.
And then, of course, there goes the eye poke into Caitlin Clark's eye. She did get a black eye out of this, right? A few weeks ago, DiJonai Carrington called the Indiana Fever fans the nastiest in the NBA. This wasn't the first run-in, of course, with Caitlin Clark this season.
So when you look at all that history, this eye poke starts to look a little different. Was it really just a player trying to make a play on the ball? Or was there something more behind it? Now here's where it gets even wilder. Clark, the one who actually got poked in the eye, is defending Carrington. She's saying it wasn't intentional at all. But that's just made fans even more confused. Some are praising Clark for being a good sport, while others think she's just trying to keep the peace. This whole situation is like a basketball soap opera. You've got the rising star, the rival, the controversial play, and now everyone's picking sides. It's not just about one game anymore. This could change how people see both players for the rest of the season.
And 80% of those flagrant fouls were committed by the Chicago Sky against Caitlin Clark. So there have been cheap shots, there have been hard fouls, there have been other plays that haven't even been called flagrant fouls. Caitlin Clark received 17% of the WNBA's flagrant fouls this season.
And you know what's really going to blow your mind? This rivalry might actually be good for the WNBA. Think about it. People are talking, they're invested, they're tuning in to see what happens next. As they say, there's no such thing as bad publicity, right? Now here's where things take a bizarre turn. Remember how Clark struggled in that playoff game? Well, her next move left everyone scratching their heads. Why would she defend Carrington after such a rough night?
Caitlin Clark was assaulted yesterday in her very first playoff game in the WNBA. DiJonai Carrington mocking Caitlin Clark on the court, played a very physical game with her. DiJonai Carrington stabbed Caitlin Clark with her fingernails right in the eye.
Let's rewind a bit. Clark's playoff debut was far from the fireworks we expected. The rookie sensation, known for lighting up the scoreboard, managed just 11 points. That's not the Caitlin Clark we're used to seeing. It was a tough night, and you'd think she'd be frustrated, maybe even looking to point fingers. But nope. Clark threw us all for a loop. Instead of lashing out or playing the victim, she came out swinging. In Carrington's defense! Yeah, you heard that right. The player who got poked in the eye is sticking up for the one who did the poking. Clark straight up said, "It wasn't intentional by any means. You just watched the play." That's some next level sportsmanship right there. But it's got everyone wondering, what's her angle? Is this Clark being the bigger person, or is there more to it? Think about it. Clark's in the spotlight 24/7. Every move she makes is under the microscope. Maybe she's playing the long game, showing she can handle the pressure and the physical play of the pros. It's like she's saying, yeah, I can take a hit and keep my cool. Or maybe it's strategy. By downplaying the incident, Clark's not giving Carrington or anyone else the satisfaction of getting under her skin. It's like she's saying, nice try, but it'll take more than that to throw me off my game. And you know what? It's working. Fans are split. Some are praising Clark for being mature and level-headed. Others think she's being too nice, that she should have called Carrington out. But one thing's for sure, people are talking about Clark's character as much as her game now. This whole situation is showing us a different side of Clark. We knew she could ball, but now we're seeing she can handle the off-court drama too. It's adding a new layer to her rising star status. She's not just a scoring machine, she's showing she's got the mental game to match. And here's the kicker. This might actually be good for Clark in the long run. Think about it. She's a rookie, but she's handling this like a seasoned pro. That's the kind of thing that earns respect in the locker room and around the league. But let's not forget, this is still the playoffs. Clark's got to bounce back from that tough game. Will her taking the high road translate to success on the court? Or will this whole eye poke drama throw her off her game?
Caitlin is on the ground, the ball goes in the opposite direction, and the Connecticut Sun score. Many people are calling for the WNBA to review this. Many people are calling for DiJonai Carrington to be suspended.
One thing's for sure. Clark's reaction has turned this from a simple foul into a real test of character. And so far, she's passing with flying colors. It's not just about how many points she scores anymore. It's about how she carries herself when the going gets tough. You know what's crazier than Clark defending Carrington? The WNBA commissioner's total silence on this whole mess. While everyone's talking about the eye poke heard round the league, Kathy Engelbert is nowhere to be found. And fans? They're not happy about it. Imagine this. A playoff game turns into a soap opera, and the league's top boss doesn't say a word. It's like the referee just walked off the court in the middle of a game. Fans are losing their minds. And can you blame them? They want answers, they want action, and all they're getting is radio silence. People are calling for Carrington to be suspended.
Said DiJonai Carrington should be suspended for Game 2. I agree. Insanely mocked Caitlin Clark after getting called for a foul during the game. Fans are talking about a potential boycott around the WNBA because of the treatment of Caitlin Clark.
They're demanding better protection for players. I mean, we're talking about Caitlin Clark here, the rookie sensation who's been pulling in up to 1.8 million viewers per game. That's huge for the WNBA. You'd think they'd want to keep their star players safe, right? But here's the thing. This silence isn't just frustrating fans. It's making them question the whole league. They're starting to wonder if the WNBA really cares about player safety. And trust me, once fans start doubting, it's hard to win them back. Think about it. The playoffs are supposed to be the most exciting time of the season. It's when casual fans tune in and diehards live and breathe every game. But instead of talking about amazing plays and clutch performances, everyone's focused on an eye poke and a missing in action commissioner. And you know what's really wild? This isn't just about one incident anymore. It's forcing the WNBA to face some big questions. How do they handle player conduct? What about accountability? These are the kind of issues that can make or break a league's reputation. Fans are watching the WNBA more than ever, but now they're watching for all the wrong reasons. They're not just following the scores, they're following the drama. And while drama might be good for reality TV, it's not great for a professional sports league trying to be taken seriously. The longer the commissioner stays quiet, the more fans are going to speculate. Was it really an accident? Is the league trying to cover something up? Are they just hoping it'll all blow over? These are the questions flying around social media right now, and the WNBA's silence is only making them louder. But here's the real kicker. This whole situation is shining a spotlight on how the WNBA handles crises. It's not just about an eye poke anymore. It's about leadership, it's about transparency, and it's about whether the league can step up when things get tough. Some fans are even saying this could be a turning point for the WNBA. Either they step up and show they can handle the big issues, or they risk losing the trust they've worked so hard to build. It's like the league is at a crossroads, and which way they turn could shape women's basketball for years to come. And let's not forget, this is happening right when the WNBA is on the rise. More people are watching than ever before. Stars like Clark are bringing in new fans. The last thing the league needs is a controversy that makes them look unprofessional or unprepared. Just when you thought the WNBA couldn't get any hotter, this eye poke incident turns up the heat to scorching levels. But it's not just about Clark and Carrington anymore. This could change everything, from how games are officiated to the very soul of women's basketball. Are we witnessing the birth of a new WNBA? Let's talk about what this means for the future of the league. The Clark-Carrington saga isn't just a one-off drama, it's shining a spotlight on the growing intensity of women's basketball. We're seeing rivalries that are getting fans fired up like never before. And you know what? That's exactly what the WNBA needs right now. Think about it. More eyes are on the league than ever. Clark's games are pulling in almost 2 million viewers. That's huge. And now, with this controversy, even more people are tuning in. They're not just watching for the basketball anymore. They're here for the drama, the rivalries, the storylines. But here's where it gets really interesting. This incident isn't just changing how fans see the game, it's gonna change how the game is played. The WNBA is gonna have to take a hard look at their policies. How do they handle player conduct? What about game officiating? They can't just sit back and hope this blows over. Imagine future Clark-Carrington matchups. The tension's gonna be through the roof. Every move, every glance, every whispered word on the court. Fans are going to be watching like hawks. And it's not just them. Other players are going to be stepping up their game too. Nobody wants to be overshadowed in this new high-stakes WNBA. But let's talk about the bigger picture for a second. This isn't just about basketball anymore. It's about women's sports as a whole. The WNBA is setting the stage for how female athletes are seen. Are they tough? Absolutely. Competitive? You bet. But can they also show sportsmanship when the pressure's on? That's the real test. Clark's response to the whole thing is a game changer. She's showing that you can be a fierce competitor and still take the high road. That's the kind of thing that could reshape how people see women's sports. It's not just about who can score the most points. It's about character, integrity, and how you handle the tough moments. And you know what's really wild? This controversy might actually be good for the WNBA. Yeah, you heard that right. All this attention, all these people talking, it's putting women's basketball front and center. People who never cared before are suddenly invested. They're picking sides, they're following the story, they're tuning in to see what happens next. But here's the million-dollar question. How's the WNBA going to handle all this? They're walking a tightrope. They need to keep the excitement high, but they also need to make sure the game stays fair and safe. It's like they're trying to bottle lightning. They want the passion, the rivalries, the drama, but they can't let it get out of control. Think about what this means for future stars coming into the league. They're not just going to be judged on their jump shot anymore. How they handle the pressure, how they deal with rivalries, that's going to be just as important. The WNBA is not just creating great athletes, they're creating role models. So yeah, this eye poke drama, it's way bigger than just one incident. It's a turning point. The WNBA is growing up and growing fast. They're not just competing with other sports for attention anymore. They're creating their own spotlight. All right, let's break this down. The eye poke that shook the WNBA has everyone talking. Carrington says it was an accident. And get this, Clark's backing her up. But fans, they're not buying it. It's like watching a basketball soap opera unfold. Here's the thing. This whole mess is showing us how crazy sports rivalries can get. One minute you're playing hard, the next you're defending the person who just poked you in the eye. It's wild! But here's what's really got people thinking. Can we ever really know what's going on in a player's head during a game? The pressure's intense, emotions are high, and split-second decisions can change everything. So when something like this happens, it's not just about the play anymore, it's about what it means for the game, the players, and the fans.